Hey folks, little Johnny in the brewery. It's reasonably early on a Saturday morning and I'm getting set up to do bottling on the hop trials, the hop experiments. Mentioned a few videos back. Not so much anyway, it's more on Facebook anyway. I've got a whole whack of hops in the fridge, in the freezer, courtesy of different sources. Ted Bristol's my hopping mechanism mainly, but other places I've picked up some hops. But I've got a lot of varieties there which I've not used, and I just haven't got the time to get around to doing them. Not doing batches of each one and whatnot. And so I'm not really getting a chance to see what they're like. So I've decided I've put down a very simple ale, just with malt extract and just a very simple bittering addition, which I think I used Warrior. Trying to keep it relatively clean so it doesn't overpower the beer. So there's pretty much just a basic draft sort of base, and what I'm going to do is it's fermented, it's all fermented out, it's ready to go to the bottle. And what I'm going to do today is I've gone through my hops and I'm going to get each different variety that I've not used. I'm just going to make up a small hop tea and then add that straight to the bottle as I'm bottling. So it'll be hop tea, a little bit of bottle priming and in the bottle. And then in a couple of weeks' time I can pull them out and just see what each different hop is bringing flavour-wise and aroma, especially compared against that simple base. So that way I can evaluate each one, do a bit of report on what the flavours are, and then look at how I can go forward and use them together in full brews. It just wasn't going to be possible for me to get through using all those bloody hops. I've got to find my list now. It's in here somewhere. Where did I write it? There we go. So that's the list of hops I've got on hand. It's quite a bit, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's about 10. I counted 14 I've never really used just on their own. There's half a dozen I've not used at all, and there's a couple that I've used in other things that I want to play around with as well. So brew this batch up with about 12 litres. But what I'm looking at, I'm just going to bottle up 24 stubbies, which I've got here. I've sanitised them this morning. They're ready to go. So I'll bottle about around 8 litres of that. And I was going to bottle 2 bottles of each. For the 12 bottles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got sort of 10 hops I want to run through. There's a couple others there's a few extras I haven't used on their own that I wouldn't mind just doing on their own just to see what they're like. So thinking I'm just going to run one bottle through of a whole batch of different hops, and then I might do a half dozen bottles of just a couple of varieties together just to see how they go, combining a few different things. Or I may even go with a couple of older school hops that I've never actually done the same thing. So at the moment what I'm looking at, the hops I'm looking at, starting with ones I've not actually used at all, is a Zaka, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Sultana, Southern Sublime, an Equinaut. What's that? 1, 2, 3. There's 4 there I've not used at all. Then I've got Strata there. I'm not going to use Strata because Strata is listed and as marketed as a bittering hop, so I really don't think it's going to do anything. Might as well. So you got Strata, Xyphos, and Lotus, both of which I've used in the IPA recently. Come up all right. So I'm going to run those in as well. Dragon and the Wolf, same thing. I've done those in the American wheat, come up really well. Not Calypso here. I've used Calypso on a couple of beers. I've commented on tastings and stuff. I don't think I like Calypso, so I'm really interested in get that in on its own and see what it's like. Eldorado. I've used Eldorado in quite a few things. Never used on its own, so I'm interested to see what it does on its own. Nelson, another hop I've made not a fuss about not actually liking. Never used it on its own, so we'll give that a whirl as well. Got some Glacier and some Yarillo there. Now these are hops that have fairly well slid by the wayside, haven't really made any impact on the scene. I've had them for a little while in the freezer. I've used them in an IPA. I've used the Glacier. I've used the Yarillo with some Eldorado and a brew that come up quite nice. So I'm interested to see how they go on their own as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 14 different there. So I think I'll run with the 14 as single bottles. And then I'll have a bit of a look at what else is going on there. I've got a few other things I wouldn't mind just running on their own, just for the heck of it. But we will see. So that's what's happening. So it's going to be a fairly long process. It's going to be fiddly. I'm going to make little hop teas. I'll be using just me glasses from my tasting paddles. So I've got 6 of them. So I'm going to have to do 4 rounds. And basically what I'll be doing is I'm going to put worked out about 1.5 grams of hops into each bottle, so it works out about 4.5 grams per litre. So it's fairly heavily hopped, but I need that to obviously, I really need to be able to see what the flavour does. So I will put about 50 ml of boiled water into the glass, 1.5 kilos, don't think it's going to fit. 1.5 grams of each hop into the glass, let them sit for about 5 minutes. And then I will filter these. I've got coffee filter, which I'll filter that along with funnel into the bottle. And I'll be bottling with dextrose and just using sugar scoop. So that's where we're at. That's what's happening today. So I don't know where the video is going to go from here, how messy it's going to get, how much stuff I'm going to get in, I'm just going to randomly take some shots here and there. I am about to go live on my Facebook page as well while I'm doing this. So there could be some crossover of contact and where I'm focused, but we'll get most of it happening. So how we go. Okay, need some decks. Yeah, as I said, just using our dextrose. Single scoop in each bottle, just to keep it simple and consistent. So with the old sanitizer on the wand. Okay. Towel for the floor. Catch the drips and the mess. And bottle tops. Shaking everything up. Now right on these bottle tops before I start, just to make life a bit easier for myself. I have to mark all these individually so I know exactly what I'm looking at. I had thought about putting stickers on the bottles, but that can be painful. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll just have me list in the book, which I can then compare that to. A few bottles there. I'm a bit worried this bloody water might have got a bit cold. I'll use the mix. Now I don't want to get too much of the hot crud into the bottle if I can avoid it. I don't want them gushing when I open them, so but I do want the hot mix mixed through. And let's see, just a little bit of hop, and just taking up a good bucket, good volume of the water. So I'm pretty confident I'm going to get about that 20 ml that I want into the bottle. So our bottle's happening. Jimmy and Michael got around heading to Dusty Miner Brews. Obviously that's a brewery up there on the coast, I suppose. Given Hunter Valley, there would be some Dusty Miners. Okay, so bottle it up. Nice new bottles. I've sanitised them. They're ready to go. Just using Dex and a scoop, and 1 scoop of Dex. Now, this is where it's going to get a little bit fiddly. Funnel, filter, hot tea, and try and leave more. I think most of that hot crud's going to stay behind without too much trouble. And like I said, this is where I'm going to start having the issues. I'm going to have to keep rewashing all these glasses, and this fella's going to get a bit of crud in it which needs to get sorted after each bit. So jug. And just some bloody water. I'll just rinse that a little bit. And yeah, that's come up alright. One down. As I said, that's going to be a slow process, doing that over and over, but we're underway. Just fill as per normal and make sure we mark them right. So what I'm doing, marking the bottles just with the number of each different hop which matches up, which I've got here in the book, and just run a line over the top just so I know that bloody it's different to any other batch. The numbers are going to start to be the same with other beers. So right, so just keep going now. I'm going to bottle these 6 up. So these first 6 are Southern Sublime, Strata, Eldorado, Equinox, Zyphos and Azaka. So I'll just roll through and do all 6 of those, and then give everything a quick clean off, do the next batch and keep moving on, do the next lot, and just keep rolling with that. Okay, I'm halfway through. 12 bottles done. Continuing on. This is the last pack I've got in my bag here, which I set aside, which I think was the stuff that I was mainly focused on. So to go through and do a bit of a check off on the list and see where we're at, what's left, and what still needs to come off. So that was your Urillo. Lotus, the Dragon Wolf, Calypso, Sultana, Strata, Azaka, got Equinox, got Eldorado, got Glacier and Murillo. That's everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so now I'm looking for stuff. So I need Nelson. Okay, and we've got Columbus and Enigma, which I might pull out. We've also got a Wacky Galliner in there, which I've always just used for bittering on cerveza styles. Might throw that in for a while. I think that might be interesting to see what it does as a flavour hop. Okay, yeah, so the Nelson. Now boil again. Got the boiled water, obviously. Can't steep without some water. Make it long enough so they're not going to get any flavour. Okay, so that was Amarillo. Okay. The Nelson, I'm pretty keen on seeing how the Nelson plays out. So this hop I'm pretty confident I don't like, but to see. So now, Minder hops I've used before, but never really a way to test them individually or at the end. So got a bit of Enigma, which I've used in a few lagers. But probably haven't really had a good chance to see what it does on its own. And she goes. Some Columbus. Now again, I've used Columbus plenty, but I tend to use it more at the start of the boil, or earlier, so much than late, more as a bitterer, with a big flavour punch, never really later on. So again, interesting to see. It does really contribute. I mean, it does get used in quite a lot of brews commercially, so give that a crack. And then the last one I've got here is the gallon. That will be an interesting one as well, and given that I've got a fair whack of it, it's not necessarily a bad thing to know I maybe can use it in different ways than what I've instead of just doing a little bit here and there for a bittering addition. Just a straight up cerveza or that sort of thing. Okay. What have I done there? I've missed something. No, Nelson. I've got the Nelson and the Columbus out of order. I'll have to go back and watch the video to check for sure. 17. What's the governor? So the last one on this batch. 18.
There we go. So stick on this in the middle. We'll go a bit of Centennial. Yeah. Again, this hop I've used plenty. Never just on its own, or I've never really seen it done on its own, so give it a crack. In a big bag of it is, so no. Oh no. So as I said, this is the third batch of the 6. So this gets us 13 through to 18. So that's all the hops that I wanted to look at. Yeah, and a little extra. So leaves me with 6 bottles. Yeah, I'm going to need a couple of just plain bottles for comparisons. Now, probably need 4 to do that, I suppose. So might have just bottled the last 6, just plain. And that way I can do 6 individual tasting sessions if need be, which is probably a better idea. Probably don't want to be testing too many more than yeah, that'll be, you know, 3 or 4 beers at the one time, ideally, if I can. So so yeah, so that would be that. We'll leave it there. So I need to get a gravity. Sorry, get that at the end. So yeah, so I'm going to go for a finish bottling this lot up. So that's it. There, I'll bottle this lot up and the rest, and I'm done. Now, so let me just check. I didn't say what the brew was started. Yeah, started at 10:34. The basic brew. There was 700 grams of light dry malt, 300 grams of amber, and 200 of Dex, with 4 grams of Warrior for 40 minutes. I just put it straight in the fermenter from the boil, and let it cool in the fermenter. So enough bittering that it's going to be enough, hopefully, to play and support what these hops are doing. So 10:34. I did pull a reading the other day and I've not written that down. Pretty sure it was 10:08, which makes it 26 to 26, 6, 8, 3.4. Sugar. So it's going to be sitting just under 4% ABV. So it's reasonably light. So mid sort of mid strength pushing in, into the lower end of full strength. So should be able to knock out a couple of trial brews on the one time. So that's wrap up. I'm going to wrap up. So as always, if you've got any questions or comments, stick them down below. If you haven't subscribed to Little John, hit the subscribe button down there in the bottom. Get notified when the new videos are on. We're brewing, tasting, doing comparisons, all that sort of stuff, having a chat. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, hit the link down the bottom and have a look what it's all about. To the guys that are Patrons, as always, cheers for your support. But yeah, that's it. For me, I'm gone, I'm out of here. So until I see you again, we're drinking beer, brewing beer, or are we talking beer? Good brewing.